The building was good.
What's going on, man? What's
Everything is
good?
Braden. What's good, buddy? Braden, we appreciate y'all. We're gonna get into our first topic, but before we talk about anything, obviously it's the presidential election. Alicia Clark has some words for y'all. Make sure you go vote. Obviously, we've seen a lot of a lot of people wearing these like voting shirts. Just want to say, make sure you go cast your votes if y'all already haven't. And let's get into it. We're gonna start off with Stephanie White. She spoke about Aliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell being the core three of the Fever. These were her words on it on her press conference yesterday.
Ryan and Kelly are just talking about, players and evaluations before we came out here, and building quality depth is going to be important. When you have a core three like we have, surrounding them with players who are going to, fill the roles, certainly, first and foremost, who are going to embrace the roles, secondly, and who give us the best opportunities for success by complementing what they do really, really well. We have seen in this league's history, how difficult it is to win a championship. The margin for error is small. The margin for error is small. When you're building teams, it's not about always just getting the best players. It's about getting the best complement of players together, who play well with one another, who work to bring the best out in one another. I believe truly in my heart that connected teams are winning teams. And so people who fit, players who fit the culture of the Indiana Fever and where we are and where we're moving towards.
Boom.
Ryan and Kelly.
What are your thoughts on that? The fact that she called the big three in the Indianapolis Fever the big three. What are your thoughts about everything she just said? We got some more. We got a lot of Fever talk. So we got some more things that we're going to talk about the Indiana Fever. If y'all are Indiana Fever fans, we here for y'all.
I mean, I think she's right. We just saw two super connected teams in the finals. I mean, they're going to be more connected this year when they have another year together. I think she's right about everything. I can't wait till next season starts. So, we can finally watch some Fever basketball because I'm excited to see how this team's going to play. Because she did mention at a different point that she wanted to be more up tempo. I totally agree with that. I totally think that's how the Fever should play it. And yeah, man, I just can't wait till they're back on the court.
Let me, if I could. So Crunk also said that the three of them are the core of the team. Yeah, the fact, but usually, okay. So Jordan, if Kelsey Mitchell is a part of the core, are you trading her still?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I would. I personally would, but it's more not because I don't listen. I had Kelsey Mitchell ranked way higher than I think you did and everybody else in the live chat. Like I think I had her like 15 or something like that. She was super high.
Her and Carter were
Um
like 15.
yeah, I have a lot of respect for Kelsey Mitchell. I think she's a great player, but I think it's also fair to say that we shouldn't expect Kelsey Mitchell to get any better. I think it's fair to say that she's not getting any younger, and she kind of is who she is at this point. And I think her value is at an all-time high. Her value, from this past year, where she was almost like leading the league in scoring, or right behind Wilson, around the second half. There was a nice stretch there. Like her value, her trade value is higher than it's ever been. It's higher than it was in 22. Higher was on 23. Like this is the time to unload her so you could get the most back to put the Fever in a position to win. I love Kelsey Mitchell. I think she's a great player.
Yeah. So speaking about speaking about this core, I just love the fact that you have a franchise in Indiana who sees that they have a generational talent in Caitlin.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get to Caitlin because a lot of these people be hating. And then let me just say this right quick. A lot of people on the internet, and it's crazy to me because you have media people, and I'm gonna deviate from before I get to Stephanie. You have media people who go out of their way for some reason to try to diminish or devalue what Caitlin has done for the league. And I'll say this: if you're a media person and you've been watching this sport, like 20 plus years, 10 plus years, 5 plus years, and you've seen the way that the sport is getting coverage, you've seen the way that the sport is getting popularity, you've seen the way that the sport is literally growing in front of your eyes. I don't understand what the hate and the animosity is towards this young woman who literally does nothing but puts her head down. She goes to work. she perseveres obstacles, and then she busts your favorite player's ass. What is the issue with Clark? Like I saw some media pundits today when they're saying, "Oh," and I love Christy Sides. Y'all know how I feel about Christy Sides. I think she's a great coach. I think she could have got better, and I think she could have had a better deal, right? But like they're going out of their way to say, "Oh, if Caitlin is not buying into the program, it doesn't matter what any coach is doing." I'm like, what are you talking about? Is she not coachable? Like, what are you saying? I'm like where's this idiot like this speech coming from? And I'm like, a lot of these people, I want y'all to chat, write the names down, because what I don't want them to do in 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, even 2 months is to switch up and act like they were in her corner, or they were saying anything glowing about this young woman like she was doing, like, because it's going to happen. Once she wins, if she wins, whatever, they're going to start to switch up. Oh, I wasn't hating on Caitlin. I was just saying this. I wasn't doing that. I was just saying that. No, y'all are hating, and they need to stop with this nonsense every single time that she comes into the subject of a conversation. It's crazy to me.
I mean, you're in the media. Do you know anybody in the media that
I'm not saying, but
might have
yeah,
had a
I
negative
know
interaction with somebody or anybody affiliated with the Fever that
It's
might have swayed
ridiculous.
their opinions forever?
My thing is, Jordan, though, is like, do you not? And it's my favorite question. Do you not like watching basketball or not? Because I can watch her play, and I can sit there and say, "Damn, she's a great player," and it doesn't pain for me to say that. And I'm like, why is it so painful for like other people to just say that or acknowledge that? This is their favorite statement. Caitlin is good, but, or Caitlin is a great player, but, and it's always like a but. And I'm like, what is the but? She's a 22-year-old rookie who just made first team all WNBA. Right. Stop with this idiocy, bro.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody say any of these things about any of the previous great
None
players.
of them. Nobody said this shit about Taurasi, bro. Brianna Stewart,
Stewie.
They just acknowledge them, and bro.
Yeah, it's
like, what is the issue with her where she has to have? And I mean, and thank again, that's Thanos. When she walk in, that's why I keep saying Thanos. When she walk in the building, you better sit up straight, because it's like, I don't understand why she gets this, and I'm sure she thinks this sometimes too, where she gets this animosity that's aimed towards her. Now, if I could talk about this big three,
wait. Let's back up for a second.
Yeah, go.
I think user said it's her fans, but what have her fans said exactly? Like, what are the common narratives of what these crazy Indiana Fever fans say? You know, like what do they say? Because I've been hearing that for the last 6 months from people on this show, from people, you know, like when I kind of read the comments in lives. What are these fans saying exactly?
How about this? When is a fan base ever responsible for a person hating an athlete?
I know, that's the other thing.
What are we talking about, bro? Like, what are we talking about? Seriously.
Like people hate Red Sox fans, they love Mookie Betts. People hate Yankees fans, they love Aaron Judge. People hate like what other crazy fan bases there? You know, like the
Patriots, man. Fucking
Patriots. Yeah, but they love Tom Brady.
Right. I like Tom Brady.
Fans, they like Kobe. I just don't understand it. You know?
I don't either. And I'm still baffled that we're a year in. The girl's getting ready to play in her second year, and you got people saying, "Oh, she can't play an Unrivaled, or she's not good at basketball, or this." I'm just like, what are y'all? It just drives me not. It does. It drives me crazy, and I feel like it's because obviously we live in like a negative society. So peep this. We're gonna be starting a good news segment of the day every day. I'm gonna put that on our next podcast straight up, because I'm tired of hearing this stupidity. Angel gets the same type of stupid like. It just baffles my mind. And my favorite question is, do you enjoy watching basketball or not? Because if you enjoy watching basketball, she just broke the single season assist record. She just had the highest a single game assist total in a year, like, or in a game. Like, it just is just so laughable. And this is what drives me crazy. You are in the media, so it is and we talk about this all the time. It's like, it is your job to honestly have an objective and fair statement about these athletes. No matter what you feel about them. If you don't like who she is personally for whatever reason, which I don't even understand why, because you don't like Caitlin always says it, y'all is just watching us for an hour and a half at a time. And then at the end of it, you go back to your, like, you don't know who she is. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like it just always just loses me. So back to Stephanie White's quotes. The big three with the Indianapolis, or y'all know how I like saying Indianapolis with the Indiana Fever, Kelsey, Aliyah, and Caitlin. She wants to bring in veterans. I'm actually going to play with this Kelly Krauskopf quote is, and I want to read some of these comments. Sky fans are just as bad. Let me see what he puts. Same with Vegas fan, the Las Vegas Aces fans, and I shout out to Las Vegas because I cover the team. They pretend that their team is perfect and that there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like the South Carolina fans. And Crunk, I know you love South Carolina, but like y'all pretend like these teams are just flawless and there's nothing wrong with these teams. Like nothing is perfect in this life. We know that. So it's like we don't have to do that for these types of like anybody. Like it's okay to just watch the sport and enjoy it, but you don't have to make it feel like, oh, this team is so much better than this team. Like you can't tell a Las Vegas fan that they're not. Yeah, you can't tell a Las Vegas Aces
No,
fan
I mean,
that they're not a
honestly,
contender
like
anymore.
that dynasty's over. Like that chapter's turned.
I said that as soon as they lost to New York. That door is
like
closed,
it's
bro.
over. Like we need to talk about them less, actually.
I'm not. We're gonna talk about the Aces. I ain't gonna say all that. CC fan base is full of hate. User, tell me what you mean by that. Because I'm a CC fan just as much as I'm an Angel Reese fan, and I'm not full of hate. I'm honestly I try to be as full as objectivity as I can. We are being blamed for the Raven Johnson hate on Twitter. Raven Johnson played like a second round pick. I mean, it's okay to think that if you have reason to justify it, then say it. I don't mind that. Like the only thing I get frustrated is when y'all tell me she's trash. Or I'm like, what are you saying? This is what Kelly Krauskopf had to say though regarding the Indiana Fever and the fact that they're getting ready to kind of reload on their team.
The direction, the timeline was accelerated. To be honest, there was an opportunity to.
Why do you think the timeline was accelerated, Jordan?
I'm pretty sure they drafted number 1 overall pick that accelerated timeline, and her name was not Aliyah Boston.
And the fact that they were able to win and get to a playoff spot and have the generational point guard in their hand, the timeline has been accelerated. It's like, thank God, Kelly. But this is why she's the president, and this is like she's not listening to this noise.
The direction, the timeline was accelerated. To be honest, there was an opportunity to try to take experience. Look at how can we maximize this group of young players, the resources that we have to be successful and move that forward. So, we had made a decision that we were going to move on, and that was tough because it doesn't take away from anything that Christy did and what that coaching staff did. And to use her words, she left it better than she found it. And, but we're looking forward, and this is
They're looking forward. What are your thoughts on Krauskopf's? I want to read this. Low key Flacco. I want to read this. Why y'all talk about Angel Reese? Y'all weird talk. What? You gotta read. If you could like rewrite that, I could kind of understand what you're saying, and then I'll kind of address it. But low key Flacco said, "Why y'all talk about Angel Reese? Y'all weird talk about Stephanie White, y'all new coach. I don't know what you're trying to say." Hey DJ, South Carolina not looking very strong, not dominant. Nobody really cooling. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see if South Carolina gets another chip, but I don't know. And y'all could try and make sure y'all tap in. We're gonna open up the lives. I want to hear what y'all got to say about these topics too.
Kelly's right. The timeline's accelerated. They'll probably be competing for a championship in the next 2 years. I'd say 2 years from today. Christy Sides did a great job. She got her team from out of the dumpster, 13 wins to 20 wins. That's pretty good. I'm curious if the Fever didn't make the playoffs this year, do you think Stephanie White would still take this job?
Probably, yeah. If she had the opportunity, probably yes. If the Fever didn't make the playoffs, Christy Sides probably would have been fired anyway, and then they would probably still do the same thing. So I think if Kelly Krauskopf is the president, she was looking. But my thing is, if you're Connecticut, why would you let her go? Because she wasn't.
I know
that just made no sense.
That's the part that I don't understand. It's not so much who these people.
Thank you.
I mean, it's not about so much like who these teams are hiring, but it's like, why are people being let go?
Fired, right?
Yeah, and also like, what does it mean for the people that are getting for the people that are getting hired? Like, for example, like the Aces lost 2 of their best assistant coaches, and Becky Hammond is down 2 assistant coaches, one for the Valkyrie and now one for the Sky. And who is Connecticut going to get that's a better coach than Stephanie White to coach that veteran team?
I have no clue. Did we forget about North Carolina and Duke games? Even in the tournament, we didn't dominate.
Oh, they're just talking about college. They're talking about other stuff.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, yeah. Yeah. That's okay. As far as this Fever team, they're ready to win, and they're going to put their eggs in the Caitlin Clark basket, and they're going to try and win as much as they can now. Because if they don't, there is a huge opportunity for her to leave and go to another franchise that's trying to do it. And shout out to Kelly Krauskopf. She understands we are in a win now mode. A lot of people are saying, hey, they're gonna need to draft a player in the draft that's gonna come in. She is not thinking. I'm not saying she will or won't draft a player, but if just knowing how these NBA executives think and knowing how these presidents think, they're not thinking of drafting a player on a team that's going to come in on day one that they're going to have to quote unquote develop unless they're like ready to go on day one. They're going to look to trade that pick for a veteran. She's going to want to bring in a veteran to that team, regardless of, like, I keep hearing, oh, the Fever should get a draft pick and do this. They're going to trade that pick if they can to get somebody great in their building. Like they're thinking about getting the best collective group of talent in the building. They do not care about the WNBA draft. They got the player that they wanted out the draft for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think they're kind of done with the draft for a couple of years, and they're probably going to just try to make their major personnel decision through free agency and trades, if anything. Yes. I agree with that. Yeah.
And then Clash said Christy Sides did lead the team better. She did lead the team better, which is why I'm hoping she kind of gets another opportunity somewhere. I don't know, as a head coach, maybe as an assistant. We'll see. Hopefully she gets the opportunity. Krunk said they have 3 years to go before she can leave. Next year will be Lauren Betts. Did we forget about? Okay. They still need to get a good backup point guard. Yeah, but you don't need to find that in the draft. You can get Natisha Heidemann. They're gonna find players that are good players. Period. Natisha Heidemann is. Speaking of which, Jordan, let's do that. Let's do that right now. If you're the Indiana Fever, I'm gonna pull up the free agents list because I've said this a few times. Who are you looking to get? I'm gonna pull this up right now. Free agents.
I would like a large defender. Is Ezzy a free agent? I think she is, right?
I want to say she is next year. Let's see. Ezzy. Is Ezzy a free agent? She is next year. So she is next year. So NECA is a free agent. So let's do it like this.
NECA's just a great player. I mean, everybody would love to have a NECA.
Absolutely. These are some of the notable names. Brianna Jones is somebody I would try and go after. Kelsey Mitchell, Brianna Stewart, Neko Gumake, Dewana Bonner, Kelsey Plum, Satu Sabali, Vandersloot, Maisha Hines-Allen, Mercedes Russell, Isabel Harrison,
Brittany Griner. That'd be a good one.
Brittany Griner. That'd be Ezzy is next year, and I don't think she's leaving. Ariel Powers. Shay said Ariel Powers is a good one, and Chloe Kitts. Chloe Kitts, if they could get her in the draft, would be good. Ariel Powers is a good backup. She'd be a good 3-and-D type of player. So these are some of the names. If I'm Indiana, the name I'm looking for is Carrington. If you can,
I like Carrington. Yeah,
you can pick her up.
But if Carrington's on the team, that means Hall goes back to the bench.
Who? Like I would put. You can start them both. You're
gonna start Caitlin, Lexi, Dejanay.
Oh, Kelsey Mitchell. Right. That's assuming you bring back Kelsey.
You can't get
unless
you put Lexi to the bench.
No, I'm not. Lexi's gonna start. She's a marksman.
How about Brianna Stewart? She's a pretty good player.
I don't believe. What are you trading to get free agents though? The Fever only have. Why do they have to trade? They don't have to trade anything. They can get rid of some players. So some of the players that are free agents next year, and the Indiana Fever have a lot of free agents next year. So some of the players that are free agents next year, let's pull it up for Indiana. So like anybody that has a 1-year deal on their contract can be traded right now, and that would be smart for them to get rid of. They have most of their entire team. Katie Lou Samuelson, Damaris Dontris, Aliyah Boston, Melissa Smith, Grace Berger, Lexi Hull, Christy Wallace, Victoria Saxton. They're going to have to get rid of at least 4 of these players on their team next year.
Yeah.
So the question is, can you get rid of them now and then actually get something back in for their return? So that's I wouldn't think about that. I would think about, can we move some of these pieces that we don't have to re-sign right now and then kind of figure out what we can do with the rest of this team. Lexi is definitely better off the bench. Shay, I want to know why you think that. DJ, looking real rebounder that can run, and real rebounder that likes to run in the paint. Well, that sounds like Neko Gumake to me. It sounds like a Brianna Jones to me is what you're looking for. So I feel like
yep.
If
I think she'd be great.
Yeah, maybe I want to go back to this list in 2005 or 25 rather. So let's look at some of these names. Brianna Jones would be amazing to get. Obviously, she's going to be a max. NECA would be a great pick. DeWanna Bonner, even though I don't think she'll be like, I think her and Alyssa Thomas are like a pair. That would be a good fit.
If you get both of them, that'd be nice.
that would be nice. Mercedes Russell would be a good pick on this team too. She could
Griner would be a great pick. I mean, Griner would work on most teams. So
this one will, as a backup point guard, if you're not going to use Grace Berger, which I would use, Natisha Heidemann would be a good pick. Let me see. Monique Billings is a good pick. Like they have some names in this free. Gabby Williams would be amazing on this roster, obviously. Kennedy Carter, who's a free agent. I don't think she's going to Indiana, but she'd be a good play. This is another backup point guard that a lot of people don't talk about enough. Ari McDonald. I covered her games. I mean, I've been following her since Arizona. She's a good player. She's a good player. Ari McDonald is a really good player. Sevi Uzwin from the Dallas Wings. I don't know how y'all feel about that. Another one I'd probably go after is Julie Van Loo. She's a veteran, 32 years old. She could come in, knock down a three, and she's probably not going to command a large salary. And another one that you could have had, which they already had on their team, Emily Engsler. There are some players, man. There are some players that they can kind of piece together and see what they can do with this. With this roster. Obviously, if they're able to get Elena Del Don, that'd be amazing. Defense wins championships. Everybody says that, but I think that's antiquated thinking, honestly. Get rid of Smith. Get rid of Samuelson, Wallace. Say goodbye. Yeah, I think so. Crunk, to your thing, the defense wins championships. I don't think that. I think that you think that. I don't think that at all. I think a great collection of talent wins championships, regardless if they play defense or not.
What do you think the best formula to win in the WNBA is right now?
Outscore your opponents. I think that's the answer. Outscore your opponents, because I don't think there are going to be enough players that are going to compete or have the ability to have enough firepower to compete with this team. I'm not saying go 100% on offense. What I'm saying is outscore your opponents. Truthfully, that's the best way to win, right? Outscore your opponents.
I mean,
have timely stops.
Timely stops, defense, post play, rebounding. I mean, I will say though that the times when the Fever were clicking, it was really unstoppable. Those games.
Every single
they could keep if they had just a more predictable backbone defensively. I think they could have won a couple more games last year.
So Crunk just said, and this is my point right there. You have to get stops though. That's it right there. As long as you're getting stops, you don't need to have you don't need a top 5 defense to win a championship in the WNBA, or I'm not gonna say in the WNBA, but you don't need a top 5 defense to win. Essentially, what you need the ability to make timely stops in the last 5 minutes of a game when the game is close. Can you stop somebody and help your team win? You don't need to play lockdown defense. If you're like the Minnesota Lynx ran into this problem this finals. They were so stout on defense that they couldn't muster up enough offense. If you have a Breanna Stewart who can go for 30 in a game, that is the difference. No matter what you're playing against, you need a player that can dominate or take over a game. A Sabrina that can knock down a clutch shot at the end of a game. You anything that you need to, but at the end of the day, you're going to need more offense than you are on defense. It's honestly that simple to me. Double offense, some defense. Justice. We are talking about you today, girl. How you doing? Hopefully everything is good. I want to hear what she had to say though. Brianna is great both ways though. Yeah, she's a second team on defense. And shout out to A, who's a longtime listener. All right, I want to hear this. This is what Caitlin had to say though, regarding the Indiana Fever fans right now. So I'm gonna play this right quick. This is on she's with her college reunion.
Serious screaming battles, and it's been so scary.
The Indiana game this year.
Oh, that was so bad. I was like, oh, we're about to lose.
I thought it was going to make us win.
He's like, oh, yeah, I got her fired up. We're going to win. I'm like, yes, Coach Booter looks at me. I'm like.
And then I was like, oh, yeah, we're
And then I was so bad in the second half.
Well, it's because
it's
because Kate was going against you.
Hey, you just have those games. You're going to have a few bad games. It's great every time.
That is such a hard place to play at, though.
It is.
And they're their fans just heckle you.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's what you're trying to say, heckle. I don't know what you were saying.
Yes.
Hassle. You were saying
that.
hassle.
That wouldn't make sense. Yeah. Harass. I combined harass and heckle, basically.
Yeah. Hassle. I was hassling.
I was
Chris.
whatever.
Yeah, but they're vicious.
Yeah.
I want to say that they're speaking about the Las Vegas Aces fans. Y'all help me out, chat. What are your thoughts about that? It just for me, I just thought it was great seeing Caitlin just enjoying herself with her old college teammates. What are your thoughts on that, Jordan?
Yeah, she seems super comfortable, like hanging out with her, old college teammates. I mean, that's kind of what, I mean, that's kind of what we want for her, right? Just to be comfortable in our surroundings with her teammates and all that sort of stuff. And hopefully that comes this coming year, with Stephanie White at the helm.
What are your thoughts on this though? User said defense wins titles, championship titles. That is a fact. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, if Sabrina went better than 1 for 19, offense would have destroyed like the Liberty would have destroyed the Lynx,
That's a good
But
point.
but I mean I guess defense is, obviously always super important. Um, when you play in a 5-game series, I mean, have you ever played anything competitively, Jambari?
Yeah.
Like so I used to be a competitive video game player. I was one of the best video game players in the world at a certain point, like 11 years ago. And I remember someone like scouted me, and it was, dude, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything because they knew literally what I wanted to do, where I wanted to get, what position I want to get in. And that's what it and that little
What game?
Super Smash Brothers.
Good for you. That's a
I was
tough.
I was extremely good at that game. But like like when someone knows what you want to do in a 5-game series, it's very challenging to it literally comes down to like execution, and like making tough shots. And then size begins to matter because like you can't game plan for how tall Brianna Stewart is, or Phoebich likes to shoot the ball like way up here and you can't block it. Like all these things, it doesn't matter like how you scout for these things. Size doesn't change, speed doesn't change. Like it literally comes down to execution, Footwork becomes a big deal, like Collier. So does defense win championships? I mean, when you get to the playoffs, even the Fever were getting back on defense, and you couldn't just beat them off the dribble super easily because everyone's prepared and everyone is, so really it comes down to execution wins championships. And if Sabrina executes more than 1 out of 19 threes, if she goes 6 for 19, they probably win by like 7 to 10 points.
True. That's a huge fact. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's like a little antiquated way of thinking. You have to have the stout defense to win. Like I think we're kind of past that in this WNBA. I feel like the way that the game is evolving is the first one to 100, and it's like that for the NBA where now it's like the first one to 110. But I feel like the WNBA is getting to the point where it's the first one to 100 is going to win the game.
I think that what needs to help it along though is the like officiating.
Yes.
Because if the officiating continues to be so bad and uneven, then
it'll play into the defense's hands.
Then all of a sudden defense wins championships. But it's like, I mean, I guess like
referees win championships.
Yeah, like referees win championships.
It's
sure.
true. That's a good point. Yeah, if the refs aren't on board, then it's just gonna kind of bring it down. The flow of the game is always stopped, and that's a huge part of why they need to kind of pick it up. Speaking of flow of the game, we're gonna speak about the Las Vegas Aces. We're gonna get to Angel Reese. I promise you, we're gonna get to Angel Reese, but we're gonna speak about the Aces. This is what some of the media members had to say. And I'm gonna just talk about Callie because I love Callie J. She's awesome, and we're gonna get her on the show.
She's like, worst.
This is what she had to say about the Aces and the fact that Tyler Marsh is now on the on the Chicago Sky.
It's definitely a blow. Like we got to talk to Chelsea Gray yesterday. She said that she has no idea what the next few weeks or months even are going to look like because Tyler is always so integral to the offseason. He's like the architect of the offseason for these players. Like he's putting them through the workouts and things like that. And she's like, we're still trying to figure that out. She joked that what you're seeing on Twitter is exactly what's happening in the group chat. So lots of uncertainty surrounding the Aces.
Speaking of the Aces, what are your thoughts about obviously them losing them both of their assistants? And before you answer that, I want to read these quotes. You can't parse it down. Let me read this, user. You can't PARC. Y'all know what parse means? I don't know what that means. You can't park it out if a team locks
your offense down. It's over. Defense leads to turnovers. I mean, I guess, I think the WNBA needs to be analyzed different than the NBA because players are in general slower than than the NBA. They're not as quick. They don't jump as high, right? Like I feel like length matters more in the WNBA.
For sure.
I think communication matters a lot more in the WNBA. And I think height matters more in the WNBA. A game that's more grounded. You know, no one's jumping as high. No one is super fast relative to like NBA standards. It's a game not really played above the rim. So I think those are the things that, you know, teams that I mean, did you look at the Liberty? Like, dude, part of the big thing about Phoebich was that she was just so much bigger than Vandersloot. So every single player was just, I mean, other than Sabrina was just was gigantic, you
Yeah.
know. And that was a huge advantage in terms of rebounding, being able to see passing angles when you're a little bit taller. Um, you know, the shooting, spreading the floor, the defense. Part of what makes Phoebe a good defender is that she's so long and tall, you know, and she has enough youth and lateral quickness to kind of, you know,
Circumvent that.
yeah, to be a really plus defender. So that's what I think helps win a championship. But you know, is that defense? Is that personnel? I mean, it all comes down to execution to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's more or less on the defense and more exactly and more on the execution. So the fact that you have players that can be versatile,
Yeah.
the way that we're looking at the WNBA or people have looked at the WNBA, especially in the media, is just like a very old way of thinking.
Yeah.
We're in a new era of basketball. The point guards are better, the shooting
Yeah,
guards are
right.
better, like the players
Right.
are better. Stephanie White
Right.
talked about this. You can't keep looking at it with the same lens that you were looking at it 5 years ago.
Right.
If
Right.
newsflash, a rookie just made the top 5 players in your league. A rookie just made the top 5 players in your league. You had another rookie who we're going to talk about end up in the top 10. I'm talking about an MVP voting. Like it's
Yeah.
the way of thinking that y'all. Even though obviously Yolanda Griffith was a monster and I believe she won MVP in her rookie year. Don't quote me on that. She was close to winning MVP or might have won an MVP in her rookie year. The fact that these players now are younger, faster, and better, like it's you can't keep looking at it in the same way and expecting it's gonna get, you know, it'll get better.
I think that's also what makes CC so dangerous is that if she ever hits 3 threes in a row, that's 9 points. Bro, they might blow 2 layups on the other end, and
Yes.
9 points is an insurmountable lead, you know, sometimes.
That's
So
true.
I think that's what makes her so dangerous. And
Suzuki and asked this
it's
question. I'm wondering if women will be able to dunk in the future. I'm gonna say this
already
right now.
dunking now.
They're dunking now. Kiki Uriafin. So that was one of the players I was watching, and you know, obviously she just played against Ole Miss. She had like a few layups where she just caught the ball, and I've seen Kiki catch the ball and dunk off of
Yeah,
a pick and
she's-
roll.
yeah.
I'm like, bro, just dunk the freaking ball. I'm like,
Yeah,
you can
she's
do it.
really good.
I'm like, why aren't you just dunking this shit right now?
Yeah.
Like you were able to do it, just dunk the ball.
Yeah,
And it goes to
she's really
Shaq's
good.
point. Forget all the booty shorts. Kiki Uriafin. She plays for USC. I'll put it on the chat for y'all if y'all don't know who I'm talking about. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. Make sure y'all look
She
on
played
YouTube.
for Stanford the last 3 years. If she ever develops a good outside shot, a consistent one, she's gonna be unstoppable. She's like a young Jonquil Jones. She has such a offensive like awareness of how to score, and she's very good, very good. Probably the second overall pick next year.
Yeah, she's gonna, yeah, she'll absolutely. I'm looking for one of like these clips, but like I'm like, woman, please just dunk the ball. I'm like, I don't want to see you lay this shit up anymore. You have the ability to dunk this shit. Like that's why I like Toby
She's very
Fournier.
good.
Toby Fournier is gonna pipe that if she can. She's gonna pipe that thing down. And I'm like, there's a few other women. Honestly, there's a few other women that have that are like, no. We're not laying this shit up anymore. We're gonna just. Breanna Stewart was one of them before. Breanna Stewart was one of them before where she would get the ball and she would just pipe the shit. And I'm like, dog. Like, obviously, when she got to the W, she kind of changed up a little bit. But I'm like, bro, just dunk the ball. And I'm like, it goes back to Shaq's point. Forget all the booty shorts and all the other stuff. I mean, if you want to. But my thing is, like, if you have the ability to do it, go dunk the ball, bro.
Are you saying they should lower the rim?
No, I'm not saying that because she could dunk. Look, this is her dunking on a 10-foot right now, Jordan. This is off of a pick and roll. Pick, roll, 1-2 dribble. Bro, dunk this shit. Do this in a game.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Why are you not doing this shit in a game? What are we talking about?
That's crazy.
No, she's legitimately just piping this. Just do this in the game, bro. Like, what are we watching here? Like she catches the ball, pick and roll. I'm trying to find some more clips. She'll catch the ball off the pick and roll, just drop step and just yam on somebody. Please, Kiki. And I'm saying Kiki because she's one of the few that can do it in the half court setting. Like Brittany Griner. Look at this shit, Jordan.
I know.
You catch the ball for pick and roll, 1-2 dribble. I'm yamming on you. I'm yamming on you, bro. It's not even a question. I'm yamming on you. I'm like, dog, Kiki, please just dunk. Like she had a dunk the other game. Like she had a layup the other game where I'm just like, Kiki, just pipe this shit, please, mama, just pipe this. But until that kind of happens more consistently, you're gonna keep seeing the missed layups, and like people don't want to watch the missed layups. Like it's just that simple. They want to see a woman they want to see Kiki.
It's just that simple.
They want to see Kiki dunk the ball, bro.
Yeah.
Speaking of another one that could dunk, I feel like this will be normal in the future. It will absolutely be normal in the future. Once it's gonna take a coach. It's going to take a movement. It's going to take somebody in the ears of these young women saying, Joe, throw this thing down. Stop laying this shit up. You have the ability to dunk. Stop laying this ball up. All right. Let's speaking of dunking, let's go into, I got you. Angel Reese. This was another one that used to be yamming back in high school. She has been in the gym. She has been monstrous. She obviously has been monstrous. I want to know, what are your thoughts, obviously, about her getting locked in? People been hating on her. I want you to. We're gonna play this quote right here from the Fever Collier. She had a lot of glowing words to say about Reese.
You do have a big name in Angel Reese who decided to join Unrivaled. Can you talk about the impact she's had on the W?
I thought she had a huge impact on the W, not only just from like the fans that she brought over this rookie class, just the fans that they brought over as a whole is insane. But she broke a lot of records of people who have been in the leagues, let alone for a rookie. So just seeing new talent come into the league is really, really fun.
I love having Angel Reese, though, just how I feel like iconic she's been for the game of basketball for women. Say what you want. She's drawing attention, whether people want to be critics or people want to praise and enjoy what she's bringing to the W. You do have a
podcast P-pop. But what are your thoughts on that? The fact that obviously he gave a lot of glowing praise to Angel Reese, and obviously Nafisa Collier did as well.
I mean, they're both right. You know, Angel Reese is like one of the most popular players in the whole league. You know, she's kind of everywhere. Her marketing team, you know, her just being out there, you know, is amazing. She's on cereal boxes. She had the Cash App thing. You know, she showed up at the finals with the half Liberty and Lynx. You know, she's putting herself out there, and the league needs that. We need marketing to be successful, to grow this game, to get more eyeballs on it. You know, I think it's right. Like people love to love her. People love to criticize her. You know, and I think just getting more people, you know, in to pay attention to this sport is how it grows, good or bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the fact that, again, a lot of people are critics when it comes to Reese. Oh, I don't see her taking pictures in the gym. I don't see her doing this and that. It's just like, oh my God, can we please, y'all? I'm like, she's not gonna get this far if she was not working. Like, she's not gonna be this. She's if she was bad, she wouldn't be in the WNBA. Let's just start there. Second of all, she's there because she's an impact maker. She's a difference maker, and no matter what you want to say, she's been doing her thing since she's been a teenager. And the fact that she's in the W now and she's still breaking records and she can still get better, it's just amazing in a nutshell. So it's like a lot of the stuff that people say when it comes to her, and for her, I feel like she obviously gets negatively criticized way too much. I feel like the criticism for her, honestly, is just abnormal, and it's just insane. So I'm happy the fact that she finally, quote unquote, posted a picture for these people to kind of just, I guess, lay off. Like, and this is her again. She's dribbling with her right hand. She has a broken left hand. Remember, she had surgery. She's recovering from her surgery. So she's showing you right now she's working on her offhand, and she's working on her ability to dribble the ball with her offhand. So yeah, this is amazing. For me, this is an amazing feat, and I love the fact seeing her in the gym. Obviously, she got her Reebok gear. She's looked like she's ready for year 2, and she looked like she's ready for Unrivaled. She will be ready for Unrivaled, rather.
Yeah.
So shout out to Angel. So Jordan, I shouldn't read this.
What?
He said she was criticized because they were comparing her to Clark.
She was criticized because they were I mean, what does that even mean? Like, Angel Reese was criticized because they were comparing her to Caitlin Clark. I mean, I don't. I think people just her because her play, talking about her play. I mean, I think people just didn't like. You know what? I feel like in general, when you get to like the baseline of like Americans watching a sport, like we always just want to watch the best. We want to watch the best of everything. We want to watch, Tom Brady, make the perfect pass, or Beckham, or Garrett Wilson make this like crazy catch. Like we want to watch like perfection, and I think that's what really eats at us. Like that Angel Reese can miss so many layups.
True.
And because it's like, come on, that's like the easiest shot in basketball. I think that's why like people have trouble describing how they feel about Angel Reese, but it really comes down to that. We just, we want to see the best perform. We love the Olympics. We love seeing records broken. Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps, Serena, Simone Biles. Like that's what we love as America. We love Otani 50-50 seasons. We love the 104-mile-per-hour Chapman fastball. Like these are our like how far did that home run go? I don't know. Let's get StatCast to measure it. Let's see how fast that ball was hit off Stanton's bat, 119 miles per hour. It's like we love to see like peak performance at its, and someone's missing layups and then like missing their own shot, get the layup, rebound and put it back in. And then, we kind of talk about setting all-time rebounding records. Like it's just very like it goes against kind of what I feel like us as like American sports watchers like to do,
Absolutely. So I want to read this other thing. So Jundal said, and I want to address this like quickly. Two different styles of players shouldn't be compared, especially different positions. I'm gonna just if y'all are new to this live, I'm gonna say this, Jundal, you're not new. We are comparing every single player in the WNBA, regardless of position, regardless of play style. And the reason why we do that is because they all play on the court together. So what that means is it is fair game. So you can't tell me that one player can't be compared to another. What I mean is this. I'm gonna ask you, June Dollar, I'm gonna ask anybody in the chat, or Jordan, you too. Let's go like this. Is Asia Wilson a better player than Lindsey Allen?
Yeah.
Okay. Asia Wilson plays center and is the MVP. Lindsey Allen is a point guard. We just compare the two players. So my thing is, why can't we compare players that play in the same like that? That makes little to no sense. We compare them all the time when we do a ranking. We compare them all the time when we do any type of list. That's the whole point. They should be compared. They play in the same sport.
They get compared when it comes to voting for MVP.
Right.
Like I mean, different positions are vying for the same award. I think you can make comparisons across positions, and come to some sort of consensus for sure.
Of course, that's why PER and that's why advanced metrics are so great, because you have the ability to compare those players. That literally is the reason. So I heard Enrique say, oh, it's, and a lot of people say, they say the PC answer, which is we can't compare players that don't play the same. Stop it. You can just stop right there. Of course you can. You can just stop right there. Like I know she's trying to be PC. I'm talking about Enrique. She was trying to be PC in that situation where she's like, oh, we can't compare Angel and Kaylin because one plays forward and one plays guard. That doesn't mean anything. That means little to nothing. You can talk about which player you'd rather have on your team. All right. Speaking of comparisons, a lot of media members are doing this too. We keep comparing. Stop. You're just saying this is the only time in history I've ever heard this type of logic. The only time in history, again, which is why
this must be really eating at you guys.
It's nonsense. It's just such nonsense that people are just.
We started the stream with this, and now we're back on this.
Let's talk about Taurasi. So Diana Taurasi, this might be her last year in the WNBA. She put one last dance on her Instagram story. Tell them with notes. This is literally, so Instagram's pushing this. If this is Diana Taurasi's last season, which for the record, I think she should stay around until she signs a 1-year or 2-year deal with that new CBA contract and get that money for everything she's done. But she's saying this is her last year. Jordan, what are your thoughts about DT if this is her last? That's what it's looking like, Jundal, if this is her last season.
She's one of the greatest players of all time. She's definitely one of the top 140 players in the world. She deserves to be on a roster spot. She'll get to do the farewell tour. And yeah, I mean, she's one of the greatest players of all time. I think she should be celebrated, and it'll be really cool.
Yeah, I do too. And if you don't know who DT was, that was like for me, that was somebody who I was watching back when I was a
Yeah.
kid, and like
Yeah.
she was a monster, and she still is a monster. That's what's crazy. Like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say she's the same monster as she was back then, but like the fact that she was able to just she's always been great every step of the way, just playing basketball. And like I'll just say this. Shout out to Diana for everything that you've done to the game, because she was Caitlin before Caitlin. No matter what anybody wants to say, she literally, like, she was the person moving the needle on Sports Center. She was the reason why I knew who the University of Connecticut was.
Yeah.
She's the reason why I started I started watching women's basketball for Tina Thompson, but she was the reason why I was like, oh shit, we need to really pay attention. And if it wasn't for her, Sue Bird wouldn't be there. I'm sorry. Sue Bird was there before her. Breanna Stewart wouldn't be there. Maya Moore, Nafisa Collier. Like, she made Connecticut into what Connecticut is, and she really set the standard for what a women's basketball player was. And remember, Diana Taurasi made first team All WNBA as a rookie, similar to Clark, second guard in WNBA history to win the MVP. Like, she's goated. I'm not gonna say she's my goat, but she's absolutely, like, she's up there. And like, I got the utmost respect for her. I thought she should have been on the Olympic team, honestly, Jordan. Because I think, again, just on a legacy standpoint, she's the first one that should be on that team. And you go from everybody else with the other 11 spots, and you kind of figure it out from there. But, like, you ain't never going to hear me say too much about DT, like, in a bad light. Like, I love what she's done for the game. I appreciate it. She's been a fiery competitor. She's been one of the greatest competitors to play in the game. She got the Kobe Bryant stamp of approval. She is goated, and I appreciate everything that she has done for the game of women's basketball. And it would not be Caitlin would not be where she's at if it wasn't for DT setting she was the torchbearer before Caitlin came, and now she just passed the baton to Caitlin. So, and funny enough, it's some of the same hate that she got. They share some of the same hate too.
I think she was growing up when she was at UConn was from like 2000, 2004. I think when it came to women's basketball, it was such the perfect transition from like 97 to 2000, where the Houston Comets win 4 championships with Cooper, Swoops, and Thompson and Chancellor. And then, like, as soon as they win 4 rings, all of our attention for women's basketball kind of actually shifted to the college level, where we started watching, from 2000, 2004, we're just watching Taurasi. So she was probably the most popular women's basketball player during that time period anyway. And I think it's just really cool that she's been a part of my life, I guess, for 24 years now, you know what I'm saying? So, she won rings, college, pros, 6 gold medals, holds most of the scoring records and field goal, like pretty much everything really. Yeah, she's just been a great player, and I think we're lucky to have gotten to watch her for 25 years.
Jordan, do you have a favorite Diana Taurasi moment? Like, I'm gonna pull up one that I could think of off rip that I'm trying to think about. What is she?
I think it was her. Was it her 3rd season where she was averaging like 24 a game or something? I just remember like every night. Because 2000, I think it was 2006, Taurasi would go crazy, and then I think Kobe would go crazy. And I was like, there was this little time window where they were both putting up like crazy scoring numbers. And we had never seen that in the WNBA, not really anyway. And we hadn't seen that in a long time in the NBA, when Kobe's putting up like 50, 50, 60, 50, 81. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I'm trying to find the clip. One of my favorite quotes is when she was in the, okay, here we go. Catch you in the lobby. So shout out to, do you know what I'm talking about when she said catch you in the lobby to the refs? Okay.
Oh yeah.
I want to read officers, but so like this is one of my favorite. I'm about to play it right now. And she said catch me in the lobby. We should talk to the refs.
Yeah, I remember that.
Here's hand.
I'm talking about outside of the realm of basketball.
How many steps you gonna take?
I'll see you in the lobby later. Kept catching a lot, like just outside of the basketball. That was easily one of my favorite moments because it just shows who she is as a competitor, and like she's just. And how about this? Taurasi was so damn good. She took a year off from the WNBA because she was getting paid more in Russia, and said, "Oh, I'm gonna stay here and chill." And she still She still ended up being the all-time leading scorer. Can you imagine she'd have played that year? So it just. She's always been a hooper, and I can't say too many, I can't say enough glowing words about Diana Taurasi when she's done for the game. So I appreciate you, DT. Thank you. And again, she's an awesome athlete. Signed my Olympic shirt. Like DT is awesome, bro. She's awesome. She's in that. Last thing I'll say, she's gonna take time to talk to fans, and like she's good. I love DT, bro. DT is a great player. So shout out to DT for that. All right. Speaking of great players, we talked about Kelsey Plum. She's getting her jersey retired. She was at the University of Washington recently. These are some of the pictures from her. This is not the official jersey retirement. She's at one of their football games. This is her right here. She's spotted in the crowd with her Plum Dome jersey. What are your thoughts about Kelsey Plum getting her jersey retired just quickly? I mean, I know we spoke about this briefly though.
I mean, she averaged like 34 or something as like a senior. I mean, she just was so good offensively in college. I mean, I think she was she's the first person to have the basketball jersey retired or something like that. I mean, I think she's a great player, all-star Olympian, champion. She's just a great player, good for her.
It is. Shout out to Kelsey Plum. I definitely want to just kind of throw that in there. All right. Our last topic is Olivia Miles, and they kind of talked about this on the chat last night. She had a triple-double. Jordan, this is a collegiate athlete. She is the first woman let me read this. The only NBA, WNBA, or Division I men's or women's player in the last 25 years to miss an entire season and then have a 20-point triple-double in her first game back. These are some of the highlights from her game. Jordan, I'm going to let you kind of...
Miles is cool.
Well,
what are your thoughts about this?
So
I mean, just look at these highlights, though.
Olivia Miles, I watched this whole game. She is. It's interesting because like I saw a mock draft. I think they had her like 5th.
Oof.
Olivia Miles, I would say, is like a B plus at literally everything. She's like just fast enough, just quick enough. She fades to her right a lot when she shoots. She she has good court vision, good passer, smart player, good decision maker, big shot hitter. If she ever develops, I think her mid-range game is very good, and I think her 3-point shot is getting better too. She's a kind of a flashy player. I just don't like that her hand gets caught. She puts her hand in the cookie jar a lot. That's the only thing that I think she might have to work on. She's kind of small. I think she's 5. Go look that up for me. I think she's 5'10", I think. So she's a little bit smaller than I'd like for a guard. Yeah. But she's very good. Top 5 pick. I totally agree with that. She's good at literally everything. But if you're good at literally everything,
I mean,
that's enough to be an all-star. That's enough to be a superstar sometimes, if you're just good at pretty good at everything.
It's true. So the fact, let me see. He said, "Who got a triple double?" With Tanya, we're talking about Olivia Miles. Chicago needs her bad. Chicago would be a good team for her. But now the question is, are you going to put her with Kennedy to play on the backcourt? I mean, I don't want the ball out of Kennedy's hands. I want Kennedy to have the ball every single possession. I don't think Chicago needs a point guard. I think they need somebody to play next to Kennedy Carter, and it could be somebody that could score a lot of points too. I don't want Kennedy to lose the ball out of her hands. But if you had an Olivia Miles on that team with a Kennedy Carter, obviously be good. But you'd have 2 small backcourt guards in the backcourt. So it's like, I'd rather want another big that could kind of complement Kennedy a little bit better. Like, a lot of y'all love these rookies, and I'm not saying that there's no reason not to, but it's just like y'all are putting a lot of stock in these rookies expecting Caitlin, and it's not what y'all gonna do.
I think she'll be a decent piece somewhere, but I mean, what does Chicago need? Like
shooting. They need shooting immediately, and they need people that can stretch the floor. I'm
you
good
mean
at
like,
everything.
oh,
I
do you,
can't even get free
wait.
refills at Popeyes.
Oh, that kind of sounds like Marina Mabry, doesn't it?
Who? What?
Shooting, stretch the floor.
I mean, yeah, it does sound like Marina Mabry, but they got rid of her. What's good, Ghost? We appreciate you, sir. What's good? I'm good at everything, and I can't even get free refills at Popeyes. I don't blame you on that one at all. But yeah, I mean, again, Olivia Miles would be a great pickup for this Chicago team, but I just don't know if you're taking the ball out of Carter's hands to do it. If it means that to me, I would want the ball in Kennedy's hands every single possession.
I think so too.
Yeah, I want to go from there first. All right, Jordan, if you got any closing thoughts, we good.
Let's see. Why don't you go first? Do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, y'all need to stop hating on media members. Y'all need to stop hating on Caitlyn and embrace the wave. I'd never seen this much hate for a LeBron. I mean, even in the media, they didn't hate Kobe. Like they'll tell you that they didn't like his game, or they tell you like he shoots too much or whatever. But they wasn't like this. Like it wasn't like this. I've never seen nothing like
it's
I've never seen this in my life.
It's interesting, right? Because I feel like media player relations are at an all-time low.
Oh, for sure.
They're either
about that.
They're either too close where they're no longer objective, or they're too combative where Joel Embiid is like shoving them, you know? So it's like I mean, if we could just kind of be fair to these people, you know,
that's it. People, bro. People.
Yeah. If we could just be fair to them, you know, because you know we're both members of the media, and you know, I don't want to get shoved for something that one of y'all is saying. So, you know,
honestly, if CC pushed, she ain't gonna push me, but if she would have pushed me, she's gonna be the one moving. I'm bigger than her.
Don't even. I don't know. I don't know. She's working on those arms, you know.
That was funny. That was a good one. Yeah. I like to see what Walsh does for Carter. I agree. Chicago has a lot of size. Azizi Fudd would be great. That would be a great pickup for that team, honestly. Azizi, I forget how to pronounce her name. Aziz Fudd, I forget how. But she was a number one prospect at one point.
She's just Fudd.
Jordan and I are making the same joke. I don't know if you are, but it's still funny if y'all think that. if you
what?
That's what he said. Jordan, if you got if you have a closing thought, we're gonna end out here.
I mean, I guess you know, well, I'm still curious to see how this musical chairs ends up with all these coaches. I mean, we still got a lot of vacancies, and you know, we got vacancies for teams, head coaching vacancies for teams that have players that are playing it unrivaled. You know, so even by the time you get them, you know, get those seats filled, like, I mean, you got people playing overseas. It's just hard to get everybody all on the same page. I just, you know, I could see a future where some of the teams with new head coaches get off to slow starts next year, you know, because they just didn't have enough time to. I mean, have you ever? I mean, is it typical for? Because some of these vacancies have been announced like for 2 weeks, you know, maybe longer. How the hell can you just be without a? How can you be without a coach for this long?
Moving into the offseason with no coach. That's crazy. It is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You can hire her before training camp. Like, what
yeah,
do you?
And that's a big deal when it comes to like, oh, you know, do I want to play here? Am I, you know,
It's
like
true.
I worked with blank before. I worked with Walsh before. You know, like you know, like maybe people want to go because they've worked with Walsh before, and now Chicago's a free agent destination. Well, I wanna work with the Sparks coach. Who the hell is that? You know, like
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know. I mean, do you know?
True.
Exactly. Like all this shit matters, and it's just I don't know. I just want to see how this musical chair ends, because I think that's the most interesting offseason development.
Musical chairs. The bigger question is, why did they all get fired? Why did more than half of the league get fired? That's the bigger question. Why did more than half of the league get fired as coaches? Wasn't there 7 coaching vacancies? So five people kept their job. That's really what it is. Brondello.
I mean, Stephanie White, bro, what 27, 28 wins is not enough to.
No, absolutely not. We got to fire you. Like, what are we talking about?
Don't understand. Sandy? I mean,
it's Brondello, Tibbetts, Reeve. There's 2 more. Okay, there's 2 more that kept their job. There's 2 more that kept their job.
Who's the most safe coach in the league?
Reeve.
Reeve.
It's probably Reeve, and then
Okay, who's next?
Brondello and Reeve, and then Hammond. So it's Reeve,
Hammond.
Brondello, Hammond in that order, probably.
You
And
think
I feel like they would still fire Brondello for whatever reason.
I feel like there were so many people. So many people were in the chat were criticizing Brondello's coaching.
They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They just talk shit.
Because like people were saying that Brondello didn't coach well, and
they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
She brought Fibich off the bench into the starting lineup. That's a huge deal. Like that's the ultimate coaching decision of the year. You know that decision won them the finals. Like
yes, like people just be talking shit, and this is what I'm saying when it goes back to the objectivity of the media. It's like they're so attached to Courtney Vandersloot and what she's done for the game of basketball over the last 15 years or whatever. It's like, bro, that chapter's gone. Phoebus is a better player now. Start her.
Yeah, right.
What are we talking about? That is not because Courtney Vandersloot's not starting. It doesn't diminish or take away anything she's done for the game. Same thing with Chelsea Gray. It's like the same thing that they do with Chelsea Gray. It's like
yeah.
You're not saying that this player is bad. It's just saying that they're past what they were before, and that's not doesn't make her a bad player. Like
I agree.
So people got to just kind of just take themselves out of their fandom sometimes, and maybe I do that with CC sometimes too. But it's like just take a step back and just watch, bro. So,
but CC's the good.
No, I ain't. That's what y'all be acting all crazy.
I'm joking.
I know, but some of them are. She's not there yet. She ain't there yet. She ain't nowhere near that. With that being said, that's episode 46. We live. We appreciate y'all. TikTok. I'm gonna open up these lines if y'all want to come hop in. Fangirl of the WNBA. We good. Jordan, I appreciate you, sir.
Take care.
All right.
I'll see you on the live.